Hey guys, welcome to the I Am Hunter podcast. Today, Tash and Dad are going to have a chat to Pierre from South Africa Safaris in South Africa. They're going to have a little bit of a chat about actually hunting in Africa, but then they're going to have a talk about the project that South Africa Safaris have kicked off trying to help some kids in their local town. Have a listen and find out what it's all about, and at the end you'll find out how we're going to try and partner with them to get their project kicked off.
Do you want to press the video button instead of just the call button?
Yes, I will. Here we go. Now, how do we...
You have to wait until they're there.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
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 Hey guys, how are you?
Yeah, good, mate, good. How are you?
Please don't.
Can you see me okay?
Not yet.
I can see you guys.
Oh.
Yeah, let me try that. That should work.
There we go. We can see you now, mate. Perfect. Well, welcome to the I Am Hunter podcast, mate. We've done a bit of an intro before we jumped on with you, so sorry about taking a little bit of time.
No, that's good. That's good.
No worries. So today it's just me and Tash. Going to have a chat to you. We're basically, obviously, we want to get onto the Sun project and stuff like that. But, we have, for many, many years, been interested and obviously hunted in South Africa. So why don't we just kick off with what you guys do, how you do it, and why you do it?
Yeah. No, thanks, Rod. Thanks for having me. We are based in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. We've been here about 6 generations on our family farm.
So only a few, couple of years.
My dad started the company about 20 years ago.
Right.
2001. Yeah, so it's just been in our blood, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what we do.
Yeah, excellent. So you primarily do obviously hunting trips and get people in from around the world, local hunters as well, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we do. I mean, basically, we do USA, Canada, Mexico, not so much Europe. We don't do local hunters. Well, this year we did do a few this year.
Yeah.
Obviously with the whole COVID thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we focus North America basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what's your kind of specialty down there? As far as an animal's concerned, I mean, you know, they talk about Limpopo being quite good for certain things, and you kind of got Free State and that kind of belt in the middle that's good for some other animals. What's good where you guys are at?
Yeah, I think, in our area we've got lots of free range hunting, which we are pretty proud of. I think stuff like Vaal, Rebuck, Klipspringer, mountain rebuck. Down at the coast you get bushbuck.
Yeah.
You get blue duiker, Cape Grace buck, Oribi.
Blue duiker.
That's kind of blue duiker. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's pretty unique to this area.
I'm coming to your place.
And then other than that, you obviously have all your typical plains game species. You've got some good buffalo hunting. I think a big variety. You know, we have. From the open plains to the highest mountains, thick bush down at the coast.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good variety of areas and species that you can hunt in.
Yeah. I'm interested in the fact that you said free range, because when we speak to most people, you know, and we really enjoy free range hunting. That's the hunting we do locally. And it's certainly the hunting that even we do around the world, we prefer to do free range hunting. And so I'm interested to hear your view on free range hunting and how you do that, because for the most part, when we talk to people even about hunting South Africa, we do actually explain to them a lot of it. They're large properties, they're massive properties, but a lot of it is high fence. So I'm interested to hear you guys, how you do it.
No, I think mainly in our area, you know, there's we have lots of sheep farmers.
Yeah.
You know, so those farms are all free range, and on those farms, there are sheep. It's not like all over, but there's lots of game on those farms as well.
Yeah.
They're big properties.
Yeah.
You know, so they border against each other, and then you have, maybe 5 or 6 properties that are maybe 7,000-8,000 hectares each.
Yeah.
Which is totally free ranging, you know. But yeah, I mean, I have nothing against hunting in high fences. We do it also.
Yeah, sure.
I would say we do maybe 60% of our hunts we do in free ranging areas and 40% in high fenced areas.
Yeah.
And that's just South Africa. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to, you know, beat around the bush. That's just South Africa.
Yeah.
And I think the key is just to find good high fence areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, which still offers a good experience.
Yeah.
Good quality animals. I mean, you do get bad areas all over.
Yeah.
Smaller areas, but you obviously want to try and stay away from them.
So just a question. Sorry,
Yeah.
go on. No, go.
No, so the free range areas is definitely more challenging. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I mean, you go into those areas, and if you hunt kudu in those areas, you maybe hunt 2 or 3 days or 4 days, you know, to see something that you really are looking after, and they're pretty wide awake as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet. Yeah, they'd be shot at fairly regularly by even the local farmer, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think they're coming around. You know, it's like my grandfather when he started here many years ago. It was just sheep farming.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
that was how they made a living, was out of sheep.
yeah,
So, you know, 50 years ago, an animal like a springbuck didn't really have any value. You know, where now we've reached the point where it's kind of the opposite. You know, for us, I mean, the game animals are worth more than our sheep to us. You know, so we've definitely taken care of those animals. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, before it'd just be something that was competing with the food for your sheep.
Exactly. So I mean, just the story. My grandfather, he didn't like springbuck at all. So the he had, the better it was for him.
Yeah.
Just to make a living, you know. But now lots of the guys are coming around, you know, especially with the kudu hunting areas. I mean, kudu has got a lot of value now. So you know, we've been working with a bunch of guys, and they've really been taking care of their kudus. And quickly, within a year or 3, you'll see a big change in the numbers and the quality of the bulls walking around and stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And people over here seem to think when you talk high fence over here is very different to high fence over there. High fence over here is usually small plots where the animals are used to humans and all of that kind of stuff, so they're not scared of you when you go along. But high fence over there, it can be a massive area that's bigger than some of the free range areas that we have down here anyway. So it's not exactly, it's not what people think it is anyway. Like the areas are so massive, and it's basically free range.
If you do your research, I mean, you'll find good high fence areas, which is as good as hunting as you can find anywhere.
yeah,
You know, but like I said, I mean, you do get areas you want to stay away from, and that you should ask your outfitter. You know, and some guys, you know, they wanna have a proper hunt. Well, most guys do.
yeah.
You know, they want a bit of a challenge. So I think the best thing is just to ask your outfitter straight up, you know, what areas do you hunt, how big the areas are, what species can be found.
Yeah.
But definitely, I mean, our 3 main high fenced areas, the one is 14,000 hectares, which is over 30,000 acres.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big, you can hunt there for 10 days, you won't even see a fence.
Yeah.
You know, it's big. And also by law in South Africa, if there is dangerous game like buffalo and elephant and rhino on your property, it has to be fenced by law.
I was just about to actually ask you about that, because it's also the bovine species as well, isn't it? That
Wildebeest.
Wildebeest and stuff like that. If you have those, they're supposed to be high fenced as well because of the diseases they can carry.
Yeah, like blue wildebeest. Blue wildebeest, especially with the cattle.
Yeah.
But not necessarily like a 2.4 meter high fence. It can have like a 1.8 meter high fence.
Okay.
They shouldn't jump that. But there's laws with different animals.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, South Africa is a pretty civilized country. It's you've got people, you know, in the big cities. You don't want a bunch of elephants walking around there. And stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
That'd be weird.
Yeah, that'd be certainly interesting as you come out of the airport to see it. A huge.
Although I do remember when we were there last time and we were driving down the highway and we just saw some wildebeest, and I was like, that's so different to anything you would see down here, but it's like so common over there.
Yeah.
And the thing is also those big animals, they cause damage. Elephants, they'll destroy crops.
Yeah.
They'll take away people's livelihoods. So you kind of need to manage them, control them, keep them in a certain area.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So
kind of on that same topic though, what's your favorite species to hunt?
My favorite species to hunt is probably Cape buffalo.
Yeah.
I think the thrill you get out of hunting Cape buffalo is pretty neat.
Yeah.
We haven't hunted Cape buffalo yet.
No.
Although last time we went over there and I was bow hunting Nyala, and the guides had their hands over their pistols, and afterwards, because we were trying to find my bull that I'd shot, and afterwards I'm like, why did you guys keep having your hand over your pistols? And he goes, we had a male Cape buffalo in here a couple of weeks ago and we haven't seen it since. Yeah. And he's like, and it's kind of angry, so we're just making sure he wasn't around. And I was like, oh, thanks for telling me.
That's a bad deal, those buffalo, and they charge, like unexpected sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially up north and stuff, buffalo that are wounded by lions and stuff like that can be pretty aggressive. Even females, not necessarily a big bull, any buffalo up there.
Yeah.
Now, we actually had in our area, we had a guy was actually killed like that, a young PH.
Yeah.
He was, I think he must have been 28 years old or something. Just like that. That exact situation you talked about, he was killed by a Cape buffalo like that. So pretty sad deal in our area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, they I don't know what buffalo have, but they just look mad all the time.
Mm.
Like, we were taking pictures of some while we were over there, and it was like, what's making you mad? What is it?
No, I don't know. It's just one of those species, you can be chilling around the water and it just looks mad.
Yeah.
He's like the collector, he wants his money.
It's got to be something to do with buffalo, because even and I know that the water buffalo here are nowhere near as dangerous as the Cape buffalo, but if you get them on a bad day or you wound one, then watch out. You can be in all sorts of trouble real quick.
Yeah.
And because they just love to turn on people. And if they're wounded or hurt, they just love to turn on people.
Danny Van Brew.
Yeah.
One of the taxidermists down here was shooting one with his son.
Yeah.
And shot one and wounded it, and then got attacked by it and gored.
Yeah.
And he had to have surgery and everything.
It flipped him. It hooked him in the arm.
Yeah. And then up and over.
Hooked him in the arm and in the ribs, and it flipped him over its back, and he landed on his feet. And he reckons it's one of the only reasons he's still alive, because it actually flipped him over perfectly and he landed on his feet. And he was able to kind of just move and whatever at that stage to try and get away and not get trampled,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
no, I think it's us as hunters' responsibilities to be prepared to hunt an animal like that.
Yeah.
You don't want to get into that situation just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
You want to be prepared. You got to have the right gear. You got to be trained. If you're hunting with a bow, you got to be prepared for that. If you're hunting with a rifle, you got to have the right rifle, right bullets. Know how to use the rifle, shoot quickly.
Yeah.
Shoot off the sticks. Shoot off your knee. You got to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
Have you had any close calls yourself?
I've been pretty lucky. I wouldn't say I'm a scared PH, but I take my time when I follow a wounded, wounded animal.
Yeah.
Or wounded Cape buffalo. I'm not like Rambo. I don't just walk into that bush. You gotta take it slow and I've been charged, but luckily not towards me. Maybe like 5 yards past me, the bull ran.
Yeah.
But other than that, been pretty successful hunts.
Yeah.
But it all comes. And I always give my guys a big speech, just be prepared.
Yeah.
Just be ready. Don't come here, think it's a joke. Like I said, have all the right stuff and know how to shoot your rifle, and then you'll be fine. You just need to make one good shot, and most of the times you have 40 to 60 yard shots, on a bull like that. So it's a pretty makeable shot.
Yeah,
you have a big vital area.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So
agree.
Don't take chances.
Yeah, that's for sure. Especially not with those fellas.
Yeah.
No.
All right, so let's probably you mentioned before about COVID, so I'll be interested to hear because we've got a virus state here in Australia at the moment called Victoria, and a lot of our friends and certainly our followers and stuff like this that they're going through hell at the moment because they're completely locked down.
I think it's like you're allowed out of your house for an hour to do exercise, and then you have to go back in, and that's once a day.
Yeah, so it's not just hunting and fishing you can't do. You can't do practically anything. In fact, there was they tried to organise some kind of
freedom protest.
Yeah, protest today for freedom, and a pregnant woman was arrested. I mean, it's gotten that bad.
Yeah, she posted on Facebook about this protest, and they arrested her for posting on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotten crazy.
Goodness.
So there's some pretty wild stuff going on here with this whole COVID thing, and albeit the impact in Australia is still great on businesses and on people, but we definitely haven't travelled around the world, and so have the kids, and we've seen that there's a difference between poverty in Australia and poverty in other places, and that difference is vast.
Yeah.
It's the difference between waiting for your dole payment and getting food, and which happens here in Australia and overseas. There is no payment, there is no anything. It's just if you don't eat, you don't eat, and nobody's going to look out for you. And so you've got to find a way. Which is a completely different, situation to us here in Australia for sure. So I'm interested to hear, first of all, from you, like, how have you gone with the whole COVID thing? How has it impacted you guys, I guess, locally, as in socially, and also the business, obviously, because I know that over there a lot of the businesses, just like here, have struggled when, especially tourism-based businesses. That's an issue. So, go for it.
I think with us, we actually seem kind of lucky now listening to your story. We were divided up into like 5 levels.
Yeah.
And so we started at level 5, which was basically lockdown, can't leave your house.
Yeah.
And then downgraded to level 4, and then on to level 3, and now we're at level 2 already.
Yeah.
So. Man, are we level 3 or level 2? I don't even know. I think we're at level. No, I'm actually talking crap. I think we're at level 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're at level 3, so we can basically. We can travel around. We can go and stay in Airbnbs. We can go fishing. We can go hunting. So we are. I think it's just like big gatherings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not allowed, and obviously international travel.
Yeah.
But it has affected us hugely. As for tourism in South Africa and the whole of Africa is very reliant on tourism. And obviously that is just like totally shut down for all international travelers. So
yeah. And hunting tourism especially. There is it is a massive part of the economy over there. Am I right?
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. Hunting is huge here. And we've got the support of the government, and they agree. They see the numbers, and it's just a big thing. If you look at the statistics, the animal populations are growing, and it's all just because of the value that the animals have.
Yeah.
So, coming back to COVID, it's just affected us hugely. We basically lost freaking 100% of our income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So most outfitters, when they come back from their marketing trips in the US or Europe or Mexico, Canada, wherever they go, when you come back in March, you're usually pretty low. Your tank is pretty empty.
Yeah.
And then you hope for a couple of hunts to get you back on track.
Yeah.
And get everything rolling again. And now we just didn't have that.
Yeah.
And now in January, there's another marketing trip coming up. So
yeah,
that'll be a pretty different experience for most of us, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it hasn't been good, you know. I don't really know what to say.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of people in that same boat, mate. And so it's socially, how have you seen it affect kind of the local community?
Yeah, it's almost like dire straits, man. I mean, there's nothing going on. Lots of people are losing their jobs.
Yeah.
Obviously in the tourism industry, even the farmers that are busy with sheep and stuff, they're suffering. They're not getting the prices that they usually get. They're laying off people. So just straight through the board, I think everybody's been affected.
Yeah.
So local community, I mean, obviously it's a very, very poor community, and it's just a bad situation.
Yeah.
You know, especially, you know, now we don't get any hunters. We don't, you know, usually the guys come here and they see the community and they see what we're doing in the community, and then they decide to help out and, you know, donate some stuff and spread the word. But this year there was none of it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty bad.
Yeah, sure.
So you mentioned what you do in the community. So what do you mean by that? Like, what do you guys do?
We've got, I think since about maybe 2009, we've started with small little projects, you know, clients donating school supplies, stuff like that. And from there on, it has just grown to quite a big thing that we're running now. We really try and put in a lot of effort into helping our local community. It is a very poor community, like I mentioned, and we've got multiple projects going. We supply meat to the boarding house. We give school supplies to the school. We've got a splash park that the kids play in. You know, in the summertime it gets super hot here. I'm sure it does in Australia as well.
Yeah.
And then the kids have a splash park to cool down and have some fun.
Yeah.
And then we also got a couple of bursaries that we run. We're trying to help a few specific talented kids, send them to a good school and give them a good future, you know, and hopefully they can give back one day into this community. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So like you were saying that this was kind of almost a hunter initiative initially? In fact, let me just give you a little bit of context of the way I'm thinking, because one of the things that we have come up against many times, especially from the anti-hunting crew, has always been about this idea that we just go and shoot ahead and the animal's just kind of left, right? We just take the head away and then, you know, that's the end of it. And we've always kind of prided ourselves. I mean, you know, I've been hunting and trapping since I was a kid, and we've always kind of prided ourselves as a family that we eat a lot of what we hunt. And it's not something that's an ego thing. It's just that we do. That's what we do. We go and hunt it. We enjoy hunting it, and we also enjoy processing it, and we also enjoy eating it. You know, the same thing, which was kind of weird to me when we went to South Africa many years ago now, the first time, and it was one of the questions I asked the PH at the time, what happens to the meat? And he said because I had the same question, and because I had the intention, I said to him, actually before we even left, before I even paid anything, I said, I want the back straps off everything I sell. And possibly, if I can, I want all the meat and myself, because I had a mate that was a South African pilot, and it just so happens I was living overseas with my wife and kids, and I had the intention of bringing all the meat back to the country we were living in, which we could. And lo and behold, we actually did. We brought home, you know, it was like 80 odd kilos of boerwurst, and it was dryvorst and biltong and a whole heap of prime cuts and all this stuff. It was like it was nearly 300 odd kilos of meat that got flown back
It was so good.
And luckily for me, I had this mate that he was a pilot, so it didn't cost us anything, which was fantastic. Yeah. So we had all these kind of really unique animals to eat, when we were back at home, which was awesome. Crazy. Yeah, and so. Sorry.
No, I said that's the first time I've heard of that. 1 in a million, you're a lucky guy.
It was pretty lucky at the time, but having said that, the conversation I had at the time, and I remember even now, was with Willem, the PH, and he said no, all the meat gets used. And he said, but if you want the meat, we're happy. If you want to take it, you can take it as long as you're going to use it, because otherwise it gets donated, or some of it will get sold, and some, but it provides very cheap protein for the local people. Yeah. And I was like, well, that's great. That's really good to hear. But years later, even now, and the constant kind of rhetoric that's been pushed by all these antis is that,
you shoot an animal, take the head, leave it in the field.
The animal's just kind of destroyed, and it doesn't benefit anyone, right? And that's their kind of push.
That's just a bit of ignorance, If they do their research, they would know a bit more. But thankfully, you guys are there to educate them. And we should do that as well. So, now, first of all the meat gets used.
Yeah.
I mean, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we use the intestines to make tripe. We eat freaking from the heart straight through everything.
Yeah.
Heart is good.
Obviously, we use all the prime cuts. The only thing that gets left is from the hoof. Maybe 6 inches above the hoof. That's what. The rest of it, everything gets used.
Yeah.
And that's like you said, that's a misconception. But the meat plays a huge role in the whole of the industry.
Yeah.
It's not like, obviously the client comes, he wants to have a good experience, he wants to shoot a nice animal, good representative species, but the runoff from that is huge.
Yeah.
And the meat is also is one of those things. Obviously supply meat. If we've got 60 kids eating game meat every single night, well, not in 2020, but in 2019 we had 60 kids eating game meat every single night.
Yeah.
And it's just huge.
And these are kids that otherwise would not have been fed at all.
No, listen. How it initially happened is I went to the boarding school, or to the boarding house, sorry, and walked in there, and it was 6 o'clock in the evening, and there were 60 kids sitting there, and each of them had a cup of tea, 1 slice of bread, and jam on the bread.
Wow. That was dinner.
That was their dinner.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just wrong. We need to, make a plan and get some meat to these kids.
Yeah.
So we last year we took a lot of our meat, and we have like an in-house butchery, and they processed the meat for us. So we didn't give them like raw.
Yeah.
We processed. We made patties and salamis and ground. What do you call it? Mince.
Mince meat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mince. So we took that actually on a daily basis. We took it to the school.
Yeah.
Or to the boarding house. So that's how we try and help. Unfortunately, you can't help. We've got 4,500 people living in town.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of people, but you've got to try. You've got to help where you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and these kids in the boarding house, they're orphans, right? Or they're...
No, they're not orphans. They live on the farms. So their parents work on the farms, and in the week from Monday to Friday they stay in the boarding house.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They stay in the boarding house.
Yeah.
But
so they have to board because of the distance or something.
Sorry.
They have to board there because of the distance to travel or something like that, and their parents would. It's unlikely they'd have a car or a vehicle or something like that.
No. But that's pretty typical for these areas. I went to boarding school. Everybody goes to boarding school.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, you leave on a Monday and you come back on a Friday.
Yeah, okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But you would know as a scholar, you need good food,
Yeah.
And, so So yeah, we try and help the kids like that with the meat.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, everything gets used.
Yeah. Even last time we were over there, one of the outfitters that we went with had lions, and the guts and everything from the animals that we shot went to the lions to feed them.
Yeah.
So it was like nothing went to waste there.
Yeah.
So it was really cool seeing that.
Yeah.
No, and that's important to tell the people, that everything gets used.
Yeah.
And
it's obviously very important for the local community.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, there's other industries as well in our specific community. But I mean, that meat definitely helps them, and we try and focus on the kids. That's our, all of our effort goes into kids. And we work through the local school.
Yeah.
So that's the structure that we work through. You can't just drive in there and drop off meat and have 4,000 people.
Yeah.
Staking and where they can.
Yeah.
So we try and organize it. So we have people in places that and make sure the meat goes to the right places.
Yeah. Sure.
And you were saying before about putting some kids through school as well, through private school. What happens there?
Yeah, we've got it actually started with for the last 3 years we've had this huge Christmas party. We've got 600 kids every mid-December. We have a huge Christmas party, and that's all with the funds from the hunters. They we have like a little show. We have Santa Claus there. We give them gifts and a meal, and that's awesome. And the kids love it, but we didn't feel like we were really making the impact in. You make them happy for 2 hours, and they laugh and they have a good time, and then they run off.
Yeah.
So we felt like we want to take that and put it into something more. How can I say? Something more specific. We want to make a change, like a real change.
A bit more substantial.
Yeah, not like giving free stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So we went to, we started looking for some, just above average scholars in school. And we came about this kid. His name is Shane De Bruin, and he's 14 years old. So he just started grade 8.
Yeah.
Just started. And he's a talented kid. He's very quiet, but he's just a good scholar. He loves reading. He does well. And he's got dreams, He wants to go to Stellenbosch University and become a computer programmer.
Yeah.
So that's our vision is to get him there.
Yeah.
So if we can get this thing rolling, that will be awesome. But for now, we're kind of stuck. He actually went back to school today.
Yeah, right.
We took him over. Yeah, we took him over this morning at 6:15 in the morning. We drove over to the boarding school.
Yeah.
So he's back in school today.
How far is that for you to go?
It's not that far. It's about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's about 45 minutes.
Do you have to do that weekly or you do that kind of
every week? So we'll send him over on Monday and he comes back on Friday.
Yeah.
It's his choice. Sometimes the kids they actually prefer to stay in the boarding house, so he'll just stay there on the weekends as well.
Yeah.
If he has friends or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So they just started with that. So hopefully he'll do okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. So it amazes me that there's so much missing in the concept of what happens when you hunt, especially when you go in a hunt and you hunt in a place like Africa, and people, like I said before, and I might be harping on about this, but people just have this perception that all you're doing is going to chase ahead, and probably in general terms, taking away the experience and the journey and all those and the cost and all those kinds of things. If that's all you're looking at, then probably you're correct. The surface activity is you are going to hunt an animal, right? And you want to hunt a trophy animal. But
that's not all that happens.
But the outcome of that is way greater than just one animal. It's way greater than just one experience of someone killing something. You know, there's the conservation benefits. There's, you know, obviously the social benefits. There's the business benefits. And then there's this, you know, on top of that. Now, I don't. I mean, honestly, you're the first outfitter I've heard of doing something like that. You know, from the point of view of, and I'm not saying there aren't others. I mean, they'll probably come out of the woodwork now and start hammering me on Instagram or something, saying, "Hey, we do that too." But honestly, I mean, you know, you guys are the first ones we've heard of doing something like that, and I think it's bloody fantastic. In fact, it's beyond fantastic. You're giving these kids something that one is part of their survival, you know, which otherwise, you know. I mean, we all know the benefits of just having protein. I mean, you know, without that, your immunity system always runs low, you know, and you're more susceptible to viruses, which is, you know, COVID, you know, and all of these other things that are out there that can kill you, you know, and of course it's great to have a warm meal in your belly anyway, you know, to make you feel like you can progress. And you've got something to look forward to. So they're just the simple benefits. But then in addition to that, to sponsor a kid to go to university, you know,
he's 14.
Sorry, to school, but you know, to another school, and you know, obviously take him out of the, you know, the situation he's in, and try and give him an advantage, you know, some benefit that otherwise you potentially never would have happened.
And the flow-on effect from that too. I mean, him potentially coming back later on and helping the community as well, and it just
and that's hunting dollars. That's hunting dollars doing that.
Yeah,
you know,
no, for sure. And that's the thing. You know, you'll have returns in 10 years' time when he comes back into this little town.
Yeah.
I mean, that kid is so smart. He's well behaved. He's and if you go into his house where he lives now with his grandparents, I mean, there is no way he would have ever gone anywhere in that situation. It's just like, I mean, even for me, I got goosebumps when I walked in there. Yeah. You know, and we got to help him to get out of it.
Yeah.
And he needs help. He needs help, you know. And then for us, I mean, we just see it as a responsibility for us to help where we can.
Yeah,
that's it. My dad always says, the greater the blessing, the greater is the responsibility.
Yeah.
So that's just how we see it, and you know, we hope to take a kid like Shane into school every single year.
Yeah.
You know, if we can start that, you know, every year nominate, you know, a kid like that and take him to Guild College, where my grandfather went to school, my dad went to school there, I went to school there, now Shane is going to school there.
Yeah.
You know, so if we can do something like that, that'll be awesome. And that's just what we can
fantastic.
Do. You know, we can't send 100 kids to school, but if we can at least send one every year, that'll be very good.
Yeah. So we need hunters to definitely get on board. Just for the benefit of everyone listen, there's probably only going to be 2, but no, there should be plenty more than that. But but tell us what's the business name and everything again. We'll put it in captions as well for you guys. And if there's, you know, Aussie hunters out there, New Zealand Kiwi hunters, you know, they're probably our largest following, and then there's a lot of US guys as well. Get on board with this. What's the name of your safari again?
Yeah, our company name is Sun Africa Safaris.
Yep.
And based in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. And website www.sunafrica.com.
Yep, there you go. There you have it. www.sunafrica.com.
Instagram, Facebook, all of that stuff as well. You can just Google Sun Africa Safaris, it'll come up.
Yep, fantastic. That's excellent, mate. Listen, I'm just going to have a bit of a chat about what we're going to do. We are on board with this, 110%. Yeah. You know, I think this is bloody fantastic, and you know, hunting's not cheap if you travel. You know, and we've done quite a bit of overseas travel and overseas hunting, and to know that. you know, you're not just buying someone a new boat or, you know, or organising their, you know, a brand new vehicle or something like that when you're paying for something, you know, when you're doing a big hunt or whatever else. And I know that, you know, the hunts aren't worth that much, but I'm trying to overemphasise here. And but you know, at the end of the day, to know that something like this is happening as part of you know, what you do as a hunter, I think is absolutely bloody fantastic. So.
And it's just another benefit to like doing something that we love doing anyway. I mean, we love going hunting. So, and personally, I love going hunting in Africa. So that's a benefit. Yeah. But seeing that you're doing something you love anyway is then going to help other people, it just makes it so much better. Yeah. And it makes that so much sweeter.
Yeah, because you always have, when you go and hunt over in Africa, and this is for the guys out there that haven't done this yet, but... And, you know, two things I'll say. One is the moment you go, you'll want to go again, you know. And the second thing is that you'll see a different side of life that you know, you're not going to see anywhere else. And what you're doing, you know, even with the people you meet there, you know, white, black, pink or blue, whoever they are, you know, it doesn't really matter. You're going to meet really good people and they survive off what you're doing, you know. They survive off you being able to enjoy that hunt, you know, and be part of that journey, you know. And I think that's really important, and I think it's something we need to keep going because, you know, not only is it conservationally an example to the rest of the world, you know, but as a society, we're helping a community that
that otherwise
doesn't get help. Well, and let's face it, South Africa doesn't have a huge amount of resources like a number of other countries. I mean, if you compare it to someone like Norway, which is, you know, just rich beyond compare, you know, or Saudi Arabia with all its oil, you know, and all these kinds of things. And hunting is a vehicle, a commercial vehicle for South Africa and most of Africa.
Yeah, I think also the one thing is it's big in the rural areas. Yeah. You know, there's not a lot of economy in these rural areas. Yeah. It's farming and that's it. Yeah. You know, so people like you'll have the anti-hunters tell you, why don't you take pictures? Well, of course, I love taking pictures, but how do I get a photographer here to come and take pictures of some plains game animals and maybe a buffalo or something like that? You know? Yeah. So. That's the difference. Is
you need to get him real up close and personal to the buffalo, you know.
Exactly. The thing is, like, you need, you know, if you want to make a difference in the rural areas, in these areas that we live in with these people, I mean, hunting is by far the best thing you can do. Yeah. And obviously, you do it sustainable. You know, you're not going to go in and you know, shoot everything you can. You got to do it sustainable. You got to manage your quotas every single year. You got to take care of the animals. Yeah. You know. Yeah. You don't shoot the first one you see. If you see a single animal, that's the one you'll go for. Yeah. You know? Shooting an older animal that's pushed out of the herd is way more important than shooting a bigger one. Yeah. You know, that might be in the herd. And that's something that we pride ourselves on, is not to just go and shoot. You know, if you see a big bull in the herd and it's a nice looking herd, leave that bull. You know, go and look for a single bull somewhere around. There's lots. Yeah. You know, but it's big for Africa and it's big for the rural areas in Africa. And every single hunting country in Africa is huge. Yeah. You know, South Africa, Namibia, Mozambique, Zambia, Zimbabwe. The people in these areas, they love hunting. Yeah. It brings in you know, hunters from all over the world. It brings in dollars. It helps them, like you said, socially. You know, the meat, everything. It's just a big runoff. Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. And to a much smaller extent, but still the same outcome here in Australia, mate. So, you know, our rural areas, some of them survive off, you know, the off hunters actually going there and taking part in that local community for weeks at a time to hunt specific species.
Yeah. I mean, you know, New Zealand's the same.
Yeah.
And they're trying to stop the hunting over there as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit privileged of people that live in cities and stuff like that, and like hundreds of miles away or thousands of miles away from Africa or from these places where the hunting is actually taking place to say, oh, well, you can't hunt anymore because, I don't like it. It's like, well, that has nothing to do with it. Take all of that emotion out of it. This is actually people's livelihood that you're stopping. And it's people's lives. Like, these people actually survive off this, and you're trying to take it away because of emotion. And it's like, is that bit not emotional?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
the biggest problem. The guys that are making the decisions are sitting in the big cities. They've never even been here before.
Yeah.
I invite them to come and see what we do, and then make a educated decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, mate. If we find any, we'll send them to you.
Yeah, that's the difficult part, eh?
Yeah, that's right. Mate, it's been really good to talk to you. I just want to cap this off with saying this, for us, is the beginning of what we're calling the Sun Project. And this is a really important thing for us. We, since we kind of, with the whole tar thing that went on in New Zealand a couple of months back,
Yes.
And we felt that we needed to do something. We needed to put something, extra, into supporting, and making sure that those animals survive as both a conservation tool, but also, a genuine, hunting experience. We were sitting there thinking, as we were talking about after the tar thing, what we really should do. We should do this. So to be put in contact with you, and to hear the story and everything else, and I've seen a little video that we will be releasing that you guys put together as well, which is just absolutely fantastic. To see the outcome of what you have started to do over the last couple of years. We want to, like I said before, we want to be a part of that. So we'll start. Our followers and everything will start seeing information come out from us about what we're going to try and do with these guys, and Pierre and his family, and try and support and make sure that we can continue even amongst all this COVID craziness, to support these kids and help out where we can.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it so much. I don't know what to say. I really do appreciate what you guys are doing. You guys are legends.
No, thanks very much, mate.
Pretty sure you're the legend.
Yeah, you started that, mate. But we're not going to go. You're the legend. You're the legend. You're the legend. But no, you're the legend. I think it's just a great thing all around, and I think it's awesome to be part of that experience, and definitely if we get the chance to travel sometime soon,
yes.
We'll be looking forward to coming and knocking on your door as well, and getting down there to go for a hunt or something like that, and see the outcome of what's happening with this as well. So, that's
my first place I want to go, by the way.
Yeah.
If the border's open, I'm going to Africa. We were supposed to be there now.
Yeah, we were actually going back this month. So, but when New Zealand was cancelled on us in April, we knew that Africa would potentially be cancelled as well. So,
yeah,
I didn't bother even paying for the flights because we'd already the money was in question for what we paid for in New Zealand, which was painful. But anyway, mate, it's been really good to talk to you, and I really appreciate what you guys do, and a big thanks from us to your family, even for doing something like this, and just doing that little bit extra. Not everybody does it, and it's probably something like you talked about your dad having these sayings. Well, I don't even know where I got this saying, but it's something that I've kind of had a principle about for a long time, that if it doesn't hurt, you're not really giving. If it's not something that puts you out, in some way, then you're not really giving. It's just kind of excess,
Generosity out of something you don't have is more generous than generosity out of something you do have.
Yeah,
so.
and what you guys are doing, I think, is just absolutely fantastic, to put yourselves out, and to make sure that these guys fed and looked after is just, I can't say enough. You know, it's just awesome. So, like I said, thank you to you and your family, and we'll put this all together and get it up online, and we'll start shaping together what we're going to do from an I Am Hunter perspective to support you guys, and make sure that even while, you know, there's no hunters turning up, you know,
Hunters will be helping.
Hunters will be helping in some way.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, you have a good day.
We're going to go to bed.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock at night here, so...
10 o'clock.
Yeah. It's time to go to bed.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go and have a old man cup of tea, and then probably hit the sack myself. So.
Cheers, guys. I appreciate it. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Pierre. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
All right. Well, that was.
Did you make sure that it was definitely recorded? Where did it go?
I think so.
Where did it go?
I don't know. Well, that was really good.
That was a great podcast.
Yeah, I know there wasn't a lot about, actually, except for the very beginning, about hunting and stuff like that, but I think that, you know, the whole thing really is about hunting.
Yeah, it's all centered on hunting in the first place. So, I mean, even though we're not really talking about, you know, going on a trip or, you know...
Yeah, shooting some amazing animal or, you know, anything like that. But at the end of the day, what these guys are doing, you know, and it's part of...
It was all fed by hunting in the first place.
Yeah.
So not having that there now is just... It's detrimental.
Yeah.
So... And it's detrimental to those people's lives. It's not just people that own hunting outfits that get affected by this stuff. It's communities, it's kids, it's schools, it's all of it.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. And we're so detached from it all. I mean, you know, but, you know, like, obviously... Oh, there's our video. It worked. Awesome. But... yeah, I just, like I said, I can't say enough. It just amazes me that they are truly the first people I've heard doing something like that locally from a hunting perspective. I know that, you know, I've talked to Willem and things like that before, and
about meat donating and stuff like that.
And he's done that kind of stuff, you know, on some scale, and they've also looked after the people that have worked for him and their kids and all sorts of stuff like that. But
this
think,
is a different level.
Yeah, it's a whole new level to go and take on. I thought it was an orphanage at first, but obviously, you know, a boarding house, yeah, and make sure that they're fed every day. You know,
I just couldn't believe when he said they were having jam toast for dinner.
Yeah, one piece of toast
and a cup of tea.
And a cup of tea.
So, could you imagine that being your dinner? It was not Billy Tea, I guarantee. It was probably Rooibos.
Yeah,
that's what they drink over there, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's awesome. Anyway, guys, we're closing off, you know, the podcast here, but, you know, thanks very much, first of all, for listening. I hope, you know, you found the message intriguing, because
we're going to be posting a lot more about it.
Yeah, the conversations we've had already, we're really interested in making sure that you know, hunting dollars make a difference, and I think that we all love our new guns, and we all love, you know, our new, you know, bits and pieces, and I truly believe that here in Australia, you know, we are exceptionally blessed.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that we have an amazing nation. I think we have an amazing capacity with income as well. And I know that there are varying different levels of that. But you know, if you have the ability and you have the capacity, we would certainly love for you to help us help them, and we're going to find a way to do it.
We'll have some ways to do that.
And we'll let you all know. Otherwise, have a great day, have a great week, and good hunting. That's I Am Hunter. Out.